go down to Rome's. So 2 Vikings luminaries who left in free agency this offseason included quarterback Kirk Cousins as well as wide receiver KJ Osborn. Now, before we get the comments, why are you talking about players who aren't even here, bro? I don't know. Do you want mock draft 200.6? Get out of here. Anyways, but Julie decided to take their talents to a new team in Hotlanta, and Kurt is now the Waffle House, Tin Pot Waffle House dictator. Go ahead, but just give it time. Just give it just a second. Where miss you, Blink 182, where it's like, hey, you know, Drake London gets less separation than an unhappy marriage. We're staying together for the kids. But yeah, just give it some time, man. And KJ decided to go to New England. Vikings turning the page. KJ got a decent payday, 1 year, $4 million deal. Helped the Vikings out in comp picks as well. Rooting for the best for KJ. New England probably going to be catching balls from a rookie quarterback. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, who knows if they stick and pick there. Blah, blah, blah. But what it comes down to, long story longer, is so Kurt's been making the rounds on the podcast as of late. It's kind of funny, man. So he was on, I believe it was the Shaq podcast. Yeah. But Pro Bowl quarterback believes new Patriots wide receiver is better than people think. And this is from Mass Live. So obviously Patriots slant, and they're going to be in on KJ. This is what Kurt said on the big podcast with Shaq. Cousins was asked if he had any former teammates he would like to see have a breakout year. None. That's when the quarterback talked about Osborn, who signed with the Patriots this offseason. Quote, pretty much all of them. Nailed it. But KJ Osborn is a receiver who was with us in Minnesota, who was kind of in the shadow of Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Cousins said. And I always felt like KJ was better than the opportunities he got. He went to free agency and went to New England. I'd love to see him have a huge year in New England, kind of with a bigger role than what he had in Minnesota to show what he can do. The list would go on and on of guys I feel like because they have someone in front of them, they don't get to be as good or show as good as they really are. You want those guys to get opportunities. Now, here's what sort of bugs me about that, because of course everything bugs me. If only somehow, some way, Kurt could have gotten more work for KJ Osborn, right? Because it's not like KJ was wide receiver 6 on this team. Like, KJ was getting the snaps out there as wide receiver 3 over the last 3 years, right? And in the modern NFL, your third receiver is basically a starter, since this is an 11 personnel league, especially in the offense under Kevin O'Connell. All right, so I don't know, like, did the play call come in a west right slot 372 Y stick? Don't throw to KJ? No. I mean, obviously you could have worked to KJ, and frankly, I feel like KJ Osborn, especially in 2022, was the Vikings wide receiver too. Like, it was Jefferson, Thielen had sort of dropped off, and I mean, KJ got 90 targets. Right? And KJ got 75 targets last year, and now was a mishmash at quarterback. But, I mean, there was a handful of games there after JJ went down with a hamstring against the Chiefs, which, by the way, the turf doesn't get blamed enough for his hamstring injury. You can clearly see the seam just like ripping when he cut. It doesn't matter. But, I mean, if only, oh lordy, if there's only some way that Kurt could have gotten the ball to KJ Osborn more. And what was the exact quote? Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. I'd love to see him have kind of a bigger role than he had in Minnesota to show what he could do. Okay. I mean, again, KJ, given opportunity, did fairly well, especially the game winner in overtime against the Panthers back in the day. Oh, you know the Panthers quarterback was that year? Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold led a 96-yard drive and a 2-point conversion to force overtime. And it was like fourth and 10 from the 8. And Zimmer's defense couldn't stop him. Shocker. Also had a game winner in 2022 against the Lions, as well as KJ was the spark, the catalyst that really launched the comeback win against the Colts, the historic comeback win, right? So it was a spot where after Thielen left that maybe KJ could hold off Jordan Addison, except Jordan Addison's talent is undeniable, so it is what it is. But I don't know, like, the whole idea is like, hey, KJ wasn't getting opportunities. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do believe in KJ's talent. That's just the you being the you. And I think with given the deficiency of the Patriots receiving core, I think that he is going to get a lot of work. I think it could be a situation like Thielen last year where he put up 1,000 yards, but in a very inefficient offense with a young quarterback. I think KJ could be that guy, especially since his specialty is underneath crossing routes, and I think that he's going to get a lot of dump offs from who's likely going to be a rookie quarterback or Jabroni Brisket, the veteran in there at QB. So I think that KJ is definitely capable of 1,000-yard season, and I think he's got that talent. So I'm glad that he's in a spot where he's going to get a chance to grow and show. But I don't know, man. Like Kurt, just throw him the ball. Again, like for a large portion of 2022, KJ was the de facto wide receiver 2 with Jefferson. So I don't know where all this is coming from, but sure. I mean, KJ could get a larger opportunity, but again, if only Kurt had an opportunity to change things and get the ball more to his wide receiver 3, who was on the field for 68% of the snaps. Weird. Shocker. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Kirk Cousins thinks that KJ could have a breakout year now that he's finally getting an opportunity. Listen to your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.